So the go-to market in 2026 is just not like earlier years. So many things have changed. People's attention spans are also just declining day by day. And so, how do you announce that, your new feature or your product has arrived in 2026? So, in this video, I highlight six important things to think about when you are thinking about the go to market for AI features or AI products. So most AI features, they don't fail at build, but they fail at adoption. So you've launched this new exciting AI feature, your users are not aware of it, and even if they're aware of it, they've not used it. So how do you get to the point where your go-to market conveys the users to try the feature? And I think one of the most important things to remember now is that even before you launch it, the go to market has to be part of the strategy for the product and how you're going to make users aware of it. Once you've built it and launched it and then you wait for a proper strategy, that might not be the best move in today's world. It might be better to start thinking constantly about your go to market from the starting point itself. And so here's what I have learned from launching AI enabled products and features. So, the first thing to do is to define success, even if it is very arbitrary at the start. Say, for example, you have an e commerce website and you want to launch this exciting AI shopping assistant, right? And if only 100 users visit your website and only 5 click that AI assistant, is that good or bad? You won't know because this is the first time you're launching that feature. So, you might not have benchmarks at the start, which is fine, but compare against the non AI behavior and review every 6 to 12 weeks and improve. So, without the AI shopping assistant, for example, how much time were the users taking to convert into a purchase? That is one thing that you could look at. And then, after introducing this AI assistant, how much time does it take them to make the purchase? So, that's one way to think about it. And in an ideal world, you would ideally want to see improved metrics with the AI assistant versus not having the AI assistant. However, this will not be clear at the start. No matter what, you might be lagging behind in your metrics, but that doesn't mean that you stop the experimentation. You have to keep reviewing it and keep improving it to get to a point where either it matches your metric or even exceeds the non AI metric. And if you really want to make that AI feature a success, then awareness about it is not optional and it is not solved by a button, which means that how are you trying to include that in the flow of the user, right? A UI placement that makes the user notice and not skip it. For example, I click on the assistant, can you give me some triggered prompts? Then can you also do contextual nudges? So you see that you are now placing that assistant in the flow of the user journey and not just say at a starting point and then just forgetting about it. So this is what it means, that it is not optional, but something that you're deliberately thinking about when you are thinking about the AI feature. So even today, I hear people talking about focusing on SEO, instead of focusing on GEO. So SEO is basic. I mean, one should not even be talking about it right now. But here's what you can do. You can focus on email campaigns which show outcomes and not features. Show social content that demonstrates real use cases. Focus on the communities, see how you can build that awareness about the feature or your product on Reddit, on niche forums. Keep adding value to others, for example, and find creative ways to capture the attention of the audience, because today it's not longer just limited by Google search, right? And that's the reason why one needs to also go beyond the basics in 2026. And go to market in 2026 is not a feature announcement, right? Users don't care that it's AI. They care that it saves time, it reduces decision fatigue, it feels magically helpful. And I think one of the biggest change that has happened in 2026 is that the funnel has slightly changed now. The AI funnel is awareness, trust, interaction, value, and then purchase. In the earlier days, the trust was not the most important thing at the start of the cycle, right? And so there are now deep questions on, will this actually help me? What data of mine is being used for these recommendations? Is my data safe? Can I consume the recommendation safely? Imagine you are on a wellness or supplements website, and there's an AI assistant recommending a pill. So can I really consume the recommendations with the bot is giving me safely? So these are the big questions now you really need to think about as you introduce these features. And just like, product led experimentation, go to market is now a product led experimentation. You can't just launch and move on. You need to now constantly keep testing entry points, prompts, evals, timing, friction. How are people discovering me? How are people finding out about my features? How is somebody using my AI feature creatively? Can I share this with the community? So there's just so many things now, and it just needs to constantly keep evolving, changing, and you need to keep looking at data and keep seeing how your go to market is working. And I think that go to market is also a product now, and it needs constant experimentation. If you think that you've learned something from this video, then please consider subscribing. Thank you, and stay tuned for the next one.